Okay, I was at the Bernander lecture last night, down at the LSPU Hall. Much anticipated, overprescribed, lots of people very interested, and it was full. There were a few seats. I guess people didn't show up at the last minute. And unfortunate, because I know they had a waiting list, but the who's who were out to take it in. All three, or at least three or four. I don't know if Daryl Powers there. I didn't see him, but Jonathan Richler was there. Patty was there. Patty bought the round of water for us, because you can only take water into the theater there at the LSPU Hall. So we were all sat down, ready to go, and anticipating a very interesting evening. And it was no doubt an interesting evening. But here's the first disappointment of the evening. It was very difficult to hear what was being said. Now, mind you, we were up on the side behind a sort of waist-high glass wall, and that may have not helped things for sure, but the audio was terrible. And first of all, Mr. Bernander is a man of some age, and his voice is low, and he has a somewhat of an accent, but mostly the problem was that he had a microphone that was pinned to his left lapel or vest collar, and his head was, for the most part, turned to the right, because he was facing a screen and pointing out things with his laser pointer. Clearly a situation where he should have been double mic'd, one on each side, or maybe the stand-up mic that was right there could have been turned so that, he was being picked up by that. But an awful lot was missed, and they could only turn it up so loud. They tried to boost his amplification, but, you get feedback and whatnot. Just very frustrating that an awful lot of what he said was missed due to, first of all, a suspect audio job by the technicians there, in my opinion, but also he was, and is used to speaking low and has, like I say, a bit of an accent that made it perhaps a little more difficult. So a lot was missed. Obviously, the information he was trying to get across to us in the amount of time he had was considerable and complicated. And he used all sorts of terms, and there were mathematical formula and diagrams and photographs, etc. And I put it in a nutshell in the one and only tweet I sent out last night. And essentially, what he's saying or his thesis boils down to that Nalcor may be using the wrong model when it comes to evaluating the North Spur. He says that the stresses and the pressures throughout the structure, given the quick clay or glacial clay or pug, whatever you want to call it, the weakness is not necessarily at the toe or the foot of the slope. It is throughout, and it depends on an awful lot of factors. And he says there's the considerable scarring and lots of opportunity for any kind of man-made influence or natural influence, over time. Water seeps in and things change and pressures change. But it can all come down, and has, and there's evidence of that up and down the river valley. He says that the province or Nalcor is using what he calls plastic limit equilibrium as a model, and that's not right. They should be using what everybody else does, in his opinion. Every university, every other person in the field who has any insight on this quick clay area uses what he says is a progressive failure approach. So he says through lots of evidence found in slides and whatnot he presented, and it's all very technical, complex, scientific calculations. He uses symbols there that I've never seen before, and I've done physics both in high school and university, but little triangles, etc. And all very technical, and he tried to reduce it somewhat because of time. But here's the big moment, and everybody was waiting for some sort of aha, got you moment. The crowd was, over for the most part. Kind of suspect of Muskrat Falls, and a lot of the leading personalities that we've heard speak out against it and ask a lot of questions. But somebody asked him afterwards if such projects anywhere else, in his knowledge, were any such projects, hydroelectric projects like Muskrat Falls, ever paused or stopped due to similar quick clay issues. And the good doctor said in Sweden they would not have to stop such a project because they wouldn't have started it. And some response to that. Some people more or less chuckling or saying, yay, we've been vindicated here in our opposition, etc. But anyway, I don't know who knows the full truth. We're going to be speaking to Gilbert Bennett, Vice President of Nalcor today, and he'll be no doubt reflecting on some of what was said or reported to have been said last night. The reality is, I suppose, experts can disagree. The vast majority, 99.9% of us, don't really know a lot about it. There are perhaps a handful or very few people in the world who are at the very top of their game when it comes to quick clay, etc. But clearly there is opposing viewpoints on this, on which model should be used and what it all means for the long-term stability, which is key, obviously, to this and any other project. So that's where all that went, and I don't know. I mean, they did spend some time. He was been in Labrador for a week, and lots of pictures of them making the tour of the recent slide between Gull Island and Muskrat Falls, and he has lots of pictures and pointed out on lots of maps and scientific kind of displays what he thinks the problems are.